throwing fits, ripping shit, tearing it, imperative. Then I'm killing this mic no matter where I live. These derelict rappers acting a fool, this embarrassing is flagrant. That's the nature of this entertainment, and we can't even change it. Guilty before arraignment, now the system tainted. But when we speak, they all laugh at us. And y'all wonder why I'm lacking trust. Try to fight a giant with attorneys that can back them up. That's church versus science, both sides start acting up. I'm late on my assignment, hopping up a mile high, climbing, obviously never silent. New alignment, I'm defined, cannot describe it. Used to describe it as a young graffiti artist. Before the beard, I always got carded. At every bar, even though my bar's been the hardest. The scars on my face said I ain't always been the smartest, but I'll show you where my heart is. I said I'll show you where my heart is. I can show you where my heart's at. See it on my sleeve, even if the beat stops my soul.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another wonderful Tuesday with the fellas. Little sports nonsense and whiskey.
Christmas
Gentlemen,
edition.
how we doing this fine evening? Pinky, Robert, cheers.
Dude, it's Christmas, man.
I just realized you're like clean shaven. Are you like?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I
What's
noticed
going
that.
on?
Like,
Yeah,
apparently,
yeah.
Caleb decided to join the group.
Every once and again, just decide to get rid of it because I'm too lazy and OCD to clean it up the way I need to that day. So it just all goes off and I let it grow fresh.
I mean, I can't fault you there. That's pretty much how I do it. Like, I'm just like, nope. My cleaning skills or getting it the way it should be just really doesn't work. So
Yeah,
I feel that.
yeah. So so be it.
Well, boys, I got 2 old fashions here.
Oh my gosh.
I'm ready for a show.
This guy.
Ready for a show.
Cheers.
Merry
Oh,
Christmas,
goodness.
fellas. Merry Christmas to you and yours.
Merry Christmas to all.
All right. You guys ready to get rolling?
Yeah. I hope everybody
What do we
knows
got?
Cooper Flag is the real deal. Just my goodness. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I know we're not going to talk basketball just yet because it's not after Christmas. Although, great slate on Christmas Day, ladies and gentlemen. What Pinky allows me to count as day one of the NBA season. Great slate on Christmas Day that we'll finally get to start talking about next week. I'm telling you.
I'm watching football, so I won't be watching.
Yeah,
basketball.
unfortunately for the NBA, NFL's taking over Christmas too.
Well, if you're a true sports fan, you have multiple things going then in that scenario.
But the only game, the Lions game matters for the Lions. They're like almost out. They have to win. The Commanders Cowboys game doesn't mean anything. And then the Broncos Chiefs game, it doesn't mean anything for the Chiefs. They're out. Broncos need to win to keep up their thing. So we'll talk about that. But most of the Christmas games for the NFL really don't matter. So there is that.
Touche.
Oh, we're going to start out with some college football, fellas. We had this wasn't actually, I feel bad for the hardcore college football fans because most of the games weren't really exciting. Let's get it out of the way. The Miami Texas A&M game was an absolute turd.
Oh yeah.
Turd. Like I'm shocked I watched most of that. I was at a Christmas party for my gym with my phone in my hand going, why am I still watching?
Because you have a problem. We know this.
I do have a problem.
It's also his team, though, so it's like...
Yeah,
it's not like he's just watching a terrible game that he can't get away from, like I did.
Like my new manager at work, he's a huge college football fan. He doesn't really care about NFL much. He's like college football. And he was texting me, and I was like, I'm so sorry you had to watch that game. I'm sorry for everyone that in America that had to like sat down and watched that game and went, oh my God, this is awful. Because at least we had the Friday night, the Oklahoma-Alabama game. At least for 3 quarters, that was enjoyable. After that, Alabama rolled them, like Caleb said. Cheers to you. Cheers to you.
Thank you.
Golf clap. Golf clap.
Thank you. It's not quite what I.
You were sweating when they were down 17-0. You were sweating.
I mean, I was like, well, I'm gonna be real wrong. That's gonna be fun. But that offense got rolling a little bit. You know, Oklahoma's defense is one of the best in the nation, so it's not like there wasn't justified reasons for why Alabama was struggling. But they did get it done when it mattered most, and held on there at the end, even though Oklahoma had a couple opportunities that looked like they could have clawed their way back into that game.
Yep. Oh man. Well, you're the college football diehard. What do you have to say about
the other two
weekend?
games are, you know, Tulane's. I will give Tulane this. They were able to move the ball a little bit more than I think people maybe realize based on the score. They could kind of go, you know, between the 20s kind of idea. It was just after that they struggled mightily for a lot of different reasons, and turnovers were huge. But Ole Miss did what they did the first time, and they laid the whooping down and walked away with the victory. Oregon and JMU, I know a lot of people are like, well, JMU looked halfway decent and the yards and this, that, and the other. I think you saw an Oregon team that was playing fairly vanilla, and once they knew the game was out of reach, their foot went off the gas, and it was just kind of we're just going to do what we need to get this clock to zeros. And so the game and the score, if you're just looking at box score, maybe it looked a little bit closer than the game itself actually was. I will say this. I think it's Sadiq, the tight end at Oregon. That dude, start paying attention to him, because him and Dante Moore might be the conversation of this tournament if they keep playing the way they have been here as of recent. So that's going to be an interesting duo going forward. So, you know, the other two games were what everybody expected. I know a lot of people are like, the group of five doesn't belong, and this just proves it even more. And easy. I think there should still be a path for a group of five to get in. I don't think an automatic qualifier is definitely the right way based on the way you only have 12 teams. So that becomes a bit of a conversation. I think just giving it to somebody just because they're the highest G5 ranked team, conference champion ranked team, may not be the best way to go. I think there could be other criteria added to get a G5 in. But I think there should still be a path. To say they're automatically included year in and year out, I think maybe that's not the right decision. But for them to have a path every year to be included, I think definitely needs to be there. I go back and forth on it. And I know a lot of people try to say that's college and this, that, and the other, and the NCAA basketball tournament. And yeah, but that's, 64 teams. I know it's 68, but it's 64. Okay. So there's more opportunity there to include. There's the games are so different that when you look at, an Alabama compared to James Madison, just the size of player is drastically different. Not just skill level, but size. So there's a lot of factors that go into this that I think people need to be honest about when they're having this conversation. And saying a G5 should just automatically be included every year, I don't agree with. But I do think, again, there should be a path built in for certain criteria to be met that would allow them to be included. You meet this criteria, then you do get a spot, regardless if it knocks somebody else out. So that'll definitely be a conversation going forward. I'm still all for, a 32 and a 64 and a relegation system and a playoffs and really having some fun with it. I think that works out better for college football than continuing to add teams to the tournament. 16, I could see an easy argument for. Beyond that, I'm kind of out. So do I expect an expansion or two still? Yes. But anything past 16 doesn't make sense to me in college football. You do need some realignment again. You need smaller conferences so that people are playing each other and you can get a better idea of who's who and things of that nature. But I'm not mad at where we're at. I'm not. I might be one of the few, but I'm not mad with, like, I don't know how old I was, 10, 12 years old, 5th grade, middle school, somewhere in there. Parents brought home a Mac computer. It was the coolest thing in the world. And I was going to be a sports journalist. And I wrote an article about how college football needs a playoff way back then. And this is, being a Nebraska fan, this is in the height of Nebraska being number one and having, you know, a walk towards the game that matters to play for the national championship.
Totally missed your calling, bro.
Hey,
Totally
you know, it happened. So this is nothing new for me. I've been arguing this for a long time. 12 is actually the amount I've had in my mind for a very long time, because for the longest time, all the polls that mattered, if you looked at the top 12, that's where the most similarity lied. If you went less than that, it didn't always line up as much as you wanted it to. And if you went more than that, I felt like you started including too many teams. But again, I could see 16. So we'll see what happens. Going into the second round, though, I think we've got some great matchups. Like, some fabulous matchups. Oregon and Texas Tech kick it off 10 a.m. Well, actually, no. They don't kick it off, do they? Yeah. Miami and Ohio State kick off the second round on the 31st. Everybody else plays on the 1st. This is one pet peeve I do have. They have one game on one day as like this marquee game all by itself, and then the other 3 are played all together on the same day. Like, that's weird to me. Why are you making somebody kick off in the morning? Like, that just doesn't, anyways. Ohio State, Miami, Pinky, this is no Miami hate. We know how I feel about Miami. Okay, so I'm taking that aside. The Nebraska Miami issues I've put on hold. This is strictly just me trying to talk as an analysis. Miami's gonna get smoked, bro. Like, if Ohio State doesn't come out and hang a good 40 plus on this Miami team, I'm
so excited to see this. I'm excited for this game because
I seriously will be very surprised.
Boat raced.
Yeah, it very much has a feel of Ohio State just running all over Miami.
Let's go Big Ten.
We'll see what happens, but I don't see any chance Miami has of winning this game. The spread, like, this is one of the things that tells me I'm on the right track here with just getting rolled. The spread is at 9.5 already. This is supposed to be a college football playoff game. And all these people are talking about how these G5s shouldn't be in. And we've got a second round game that already has a 9.5 point spread. It's not a good look. Not a good look. Do you give your Canes any chance, Pinky?
I mean, they can play good defense, and when Carson Beck knows how to play football, they're at least competent. If those two things happen, they don't get boat raced. They don't win. I'm not delusional, but they've played good defense this year against some good teams. They've played some bad defense against some okay teams. They've played good offense. I don't know who this Miami team is. At the end of the day, it usually comes down to how well Carson Beck plays football that day. And nobody knows how Carson Beck's going to play. Probably pretty shitty. So you'll get no argument from me.
That sounds about right. The second game of the second round kicks off at 10 a.m. New Year's Day. That will be Oregon and Texas Tech. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. Second round starts the bowls. So Ohio State, Miami is the Cotton Bowl. And then Texas Tech and Oregon will be the Orange Bowl. So down in Miami. I fully expect. Now, Texas Tech might have the best defense in the country. Okay. I know it's a really good defense. That's pretty much why they're at where they're at. Rodriguez, their linebacker, was a Heisman finalist that didn't even get invited. There's a scenario I see playing out here where Oregon gets an opportunity to open the game up. And I see it happening early, like middle second quarter, where they could go up 17-3, 20-3, something in those lines. And if they convert whatever that opportunity is, I think it gets ugly for Texas Tech because their offense isn't built to play from behind. And it's going to allow all that speed and athleticism on Oregon on the offensive end to just start doing whatever they want to against that defense. And that's a dangerous place to be in for any team. So I think Oregon wins regardless, but I really do feel like there's going to be this opportunity in the second quarter where Oregon can blow it open. And if they convert that, it turns into not much of a game. If they don't convert that, Texas Tech will have an opportunity to keep it close. I still think Oregon wins.
This could be a shootout kind of game, and I like it. Let's go. This is the type of game I want to watch back and forth. I want to see it come down to the who's got the ball last. That's what I really want. And that's what the Texas Tech Oregon game and the Alabama Indiana game are the only two games of the weekend I think will come down to the end.
That's fair. And the Indiana-Alabama game is next, Rose Bowl. I think people underestimate how good Indiana is. Still, I think there's still a good majority out there, not necessarily the majority of college football fans, but a good majority of the people that didn't like Indiana that still think their winning against Ohio State was a fluke, that they still can't compete with the big dogs. And I think they're going to get an eye-opening statement-type game from Indiana against Alabama.
If Indiana rolls Alabama, can you believe the meltdown for Alabama fans?
Dude, can you kind of feel that coming?
I hope
Especially after
so.
what happened last week where it didn't go the way I thought it would against Oklahoma. Yeah, they still won by 10 or 13, whatever it was. But, Oklahoma was kind of in that the whole game, especially being up 17 for most of that first half. So I think Oklahoma put it to Alabama in such a way that they didn't just wear out physically, but they also put a lot out there emotionally for that game. And they had to use a lot more of maybe their playbook, if you will, things that they maybe otherwise wouldn't have done if they had gotten up early to get back into that game, that gives Indiana a lot more tape to work with and to game plan for. And they also had that week off to rest from the season. And I think if there's one thing a Kurt Signetti team has proven is that they're not an unprepared team when a game comes around.
I'm excited because I'll get to watch all these games next week.
It's going to be a good game, but it does have a feel of another kind of blowout in Indiana's favor. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think Indiana controls this game from start to finish. It might finish with a 10-point difference or somewhere in there, but I think it's going to feel like Indiana pretty much controlled the game the entire way, start to finish. You're right, Pinky. That's going to it's gonna cause some waves down there in Tuscaloosa for sure.
I will be so excited. I do have a lot of hate for Alabama. I was like, I hate Alabama. I hate Oklahoma. And I was like, I don't know who to root for. And I was like, well, I think I hate Oklahoma less. So let's go Oklahoma. And then they lost. So in this case, I'm rooting for Indiana big time. And I'm hoping the Heisman winner has a great game, shows out. And, maybe he'll earn his way to be number one pick.
Definitely an opportunity to do some things there. On the same token, Simpson and Sand are kind of playing for the same thing. They go and ball out during these playoff runs and put up a bunch of numbers and look really good and lead their team to something. They could catapult themselves. So we all know what happens in the offseason. If you have a story like that to carry you through the offseason, then you go have some good workouts, that clout only rises.
Well, I think Sane's a freshman, isn't he?
No. I'm not saying Sam will be in the draft this next year. He's a sophomore. Redshirt sophomore?
I'm going to look it up.
I know he's not a freshman. And Simpson's a junior, I believe. So opportunity there for names to be made and see how it goes. Last game, Ole Miss, Georgia. This one is going to be interesting. I don't think Georgia is that good. I'm unsure on what Ole Miss is because they could look like a insanely explosive offense and then look inept the very next play. Their defense is not great, although it can play somewhat of a bend but don't break style at times that allows that offense to get the ball back. So I'm not sure what to think of this game. I think Georgia wins. I'm going to call an upset, though, and say the emotions and everything with Ole Miss somehow find a way to win this game.
Ooh.
And Georgia just looks like they're just not an explosive team, a dominant team this year. And they leave the door open late, and I've called it before. Chambliss won the equivalent of the Heisman at the lower level last year. He's been playing good ball this year.
We lost to Pinky.
I think, I know. I think they could have an opportunity, and I think I don't feel it with my head. I may not even be feeling this with my heart. I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm going to pick an Ole Miss upset and see how that rolls out.
Ooh.
All I'm saying is I'm just pulling for the Big 10-3 making it into the next round. That's what I'm pulling for. I want
Okay.
Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State to all advance.
Be crazy. And it would, I mean, there's already conversation about the SEC not being as tough as everybody thinks it is with the way Texas A&M played against Miami and what that says. So I don't know.
I'm just trying to shut up the haters about the Big Ten.
It would be interesting if all three of them advance. I mean, that's what we're projecting. Well, I shouldn't say that's what we're projecting. That's what I'm predicting.
Robert, I'm going to be honest with you. Ain't nobody here want to see Ohio State win again. Ohio State fans are the worst. Alabama fans are the worst. But Ohio State fans are pretty close.
They're up there.
You know, I'm just going for the underdog. I want Indiana to win it all. That's what I want.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that.
I don't know if you're the underdog when you're ranked number one. Just saying.
Be hard to be mad at a Oregon Ducks championship too. Dan Lanning and the boys getting their first one. Be hard to be mad at that too.
That'd be. So it's for me. It's Miami, Indiana, Oregon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I've always liked Oregon. I like their jerseys. I like the school. I like the atmosphere. Every time they show it on game day, it looks like a great place to go watch a football game. Like,
that would be interesting.
That'd be a trip I'd be up for.
You'd get Oregon, Indiana rematch, and then you'd get the Ohio State, Georgia. I mean, that Final Four, if that's how it lays out the way we predicted, the way I predicted, then could finally get some really good games. Because I actually am thinking the Georgia Ole Miss is going to be the best game of the weekend. Everything else I see as a very, very possible not close game. Maybe not necessarily blowout, but not necessarily close games. Could be interesting still. See what happens. It's the idea that, you know, somebody could get that opportunity and it could be a first time like in Oregon or Indiana going against potentially a national powerhouse for the championship and the storylines that creates. You know, that's college sports in a nutshell, right? That's not the kind of stuff you really get in the professional league. Every once and again, you'll get the team that's never won making it, and can they get their first one? Or, you know, the Cubs, can they break the curse? The Indians, can they break the curse? The Red Sox, can they break the curse? But they've had it. They've at least had one before, which has been a long time. Maybe it's not the modern era. We're talking about colleges that have been around since, 100 years ago that have never won. So that, to me, I think is the storyline you're going to start hearing played up a lot more, especially if Oregon and Indiana win.
That's going to be a great matchup. So here's to week 2, which we don't get till next week.
Yeah, we got another week and a day before these games kick off.
That's what New Year's is for, is to be
All
hungover
right.
and watch college football.
So we're gonna switch gears here from college football to the National Football League. And there's 3 teams I've picked out. I feel like we should give some flowers to. And we'll talk about got to talk about the New England Patriots and what a great season they've been having. I know a lot of people will talk about their schedule. All you can do is beat the teams in front of you. Like, you don't make the schedule. The schedule's based on, what's there. They keep lining up and they keep winning. What'd you think about that New England Baltimore game there, Caleb? Silent? Are you on mute? What's going on?
No,
He's got no words.
New England is excuse me. That defense is going to be their issue. They just don't have all the pieces, I don't think, yet to shut down a team that's rolling.
Completely.
So then it's up to that offense to kind of keep pace. And I think that offense is on the verge of being one of the most dangerous offenses in the league. And if they, it might not be till next year till it truly clicks, and they may not have the household names, but the way Drake May is able to distribute the ball and that running game, now Travion Henderson concussion protocol, right? So he might be out the next game or 2 possibly, but fully expect him to be back by playoffs. So that 2-headed monster in Ramadre and Travion, along with everything else, that offense is, I think people are underestimating how dangerous it has the potential to be. Now, yes, I know Baltimore's defense isn't good and they haven't played the best schedule, but Diggs and Booty and Williams and Henry and the running backs and Drake May looks like he's truly figured it out. Like, the game's already slowed down for him, it looks like.
Pro Bowl quarterback Drake May.
Now playoffs are different, right? People could trip him up a little bit in the playoffs. He hasn't seen everything. I get that. But what I'm seeing is a team that has the potential to be very dangerous. And when I say the defense is the flaw, I'm not trying to say the defense is bad by any means. I just don't think they have the elite defense like your Houston, Denver.
It's the Achilles heel.
And even Denver, I've talked about maybe a little inconsistency throughout the year, and they showed up again this last weekend. We'll get there. Seattle, I don't think they're on that level, but they're not bad. They're not an incapable defense.
You know what they do have? Great freaking head coach.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That goes a long way.
Vrabel, Tennessee very much made a mistake on the direction they wanted to move on from.
What's crazy about this game, Baltimore's got this game. They're up 10 with, I don't know how much time was left in the game. New England goes down and Derrick Henry runs all over them.
12 minutes.
Derrick Henry runs all over the Patriots, gets into the end zone. It's a 10-point game. Patriots respond. They come down and score. The very next drive, guess who's not in the game?
No, let's back up. From that touchdown, guess who doesn't return to the game? 12 minutes. Does not return to the game and get a touch. Derrick frickin' Henry. And Pinky, it seems to not be talked about a whole lot for some reason. And it surprised me. But this is not the first time this has been an issue in Baltimore, where the closer does not close the game for you. And I had I had a feeling after this game that I backed off of ever so slightly because I heard something this morning. I think it was on Get Up that made me back off it a little bit. So now I'm kind of basically sitting right on the fence, 50-50. But right after that game, my thought was John Harbaugh and the Ravens need to part ways. And not because I think John Harbaugh's a bad coach, but because seasons like this are usually seasons that tell you the message doesn't quite land anymore. But then, and I can't remember who said it on Get Up. I wish I could. Whoever said it, though, was pretty smart. They said John Harbaugh is known for being willing to switch up anything and everything because he came from that special teams background, not an offensive or defensive guy. So he's not married to one type of system. So he's more than willing to bring in new blood, try new systems. And that rang really true to me. So I could very much see him sticking around and completely flipping this around and having another 2 or 3 years where they're right in the hunt again. But the thing that keeps coming back to me is the fact that, 7 years with the Lamar, they've got 3 playoff wins. And I know there's a lot of reasons for that. Don't get me wrong. I've been a Ravens and Lamar truther for a lot of that. But at the same time, I can't ignore what I've been watching this season, the record. So I was very much under the idea that it's just time to part ways. Not because he's a bad coach, just because sometimes it's good to get new blood and move into the next era and kind of evolve, if you will, over time. But after hearing that, I'm right on the fence now, and I wouldn't be surprised either way, and I wouldn't be mad either way they go. But
17 years is a long time.
It is. And, where does it become they've earned the right to make the call on when they want to go out or what's best for business kind of thing? Because as much as I believe in loyalty, this is also a business and it's about winning. And if you're not winning, if you're not producing at the highest level, or at least having your team in the position to compete for those types of games, then what are you doing? Now, there are levels to that, right? You could be in complete rebuild and you have the right guy. It's just a matter of getting the right pieces. You can be in a reset mode like I think the Chiefs should be doing. And keep all your main core pieces. You just need to rebuild around it again. So there's levels to that. But if you're not getting to yourself, if you're not putting yourself to be in those positions, regardless of what level you're on, then you need to reevaluate and look at what's next. And I think the Ravens do have to take a step back this offseason and evaluate what's next. And I think that evaluation could come back. We have everything we need to go win a Super Bowl. We don't have to do anything drastic. We just need to go make our moves in free agency, run through the draft, and we're good to go next year. And I'd be totally cool with that. I could also see them saying something crazy like, let's move on from Lamar. Because he's only going to get more and more expensive. His cap hit's getting crazy. If we don't renegotiate his contract here soon, it's time to move on from John Harbaugh, so that's the right time to make the splits. But I don't know, man. I really don't know.
Well, that'll be a off-season conversation for us. Coming back to the Patriots, congrats to them. They look good. They are going to get the 1 seed or the 2 seed. I'm confident. They're going to be 1 or 2. That's it. They play the Jets and the Dolphins.
Yeah, it's hard to see them not being one of the top 2 seeds.
So they're going to be 1 or 2. Moving on. Robert, what comes to mind when you see this?
Sadness. Nightmares.
Ben Johnson's got the Bears rolling.
No, it's the Pope. It's not Ben Johnson. It's the Pope.
If you believe in that thing, Sure.
I mean, hey, listen, the Bears have been awesome since the Pope got elected. So, like, it's a miracle. They might actually do something. I'm not happy about it. I'm very upset. Lions, you had your chance, I guess. I don't know what else to say. I'm distraught. Yeah. I'm also kind of happy the Packers lost because that helps a little bit. But yeah, this picture,
another comeback win for the Bears.
This picture just makes me want to cry. Yep.
I'm gonna say the Bears to me are one of the most interesting teams because they literally look so average or below average for 3 quarters, and then the fourth quarter hits, and the next thing you know, they're winning the game, and it's crazy. The Broncos have played some of the same type of football, which is insane, but the Bears are. I mean, that's literally what they're doing. They're like, keep it close, and then fourth quarter, Caleb Williams turns into a completely different player. All of a sudden, all of it, like that ball to DJ Moore was beautiful. It is beautiful. And then, as Caleb said, they remembered who the best player on the team was.
Straight up.
I mean, I still don't understand how DJ Moore isn't having far better seasons, but that's besides the point. I will give Caleb Williams credit because that ball, that was into the wind, solid 50 yards, dropped right into the basket, and DJ Moore just went up and grabbed it and held onto it. So, pretty incredible victory for Chicago, for sure, because they looked like that game was over. Now, I think Green Bay, while I think Malik Willis is a very serviceable backup, especially in that system with them, I think it does show Jordan Love, and what he does for that offense. And if they don't have him next week or the week after, it could
Cthulhu.
It could get ugly for Green Bay and where they go in the playoffs. I mean, they're already in a position where they went from potentially the 1 seed, then potentially not that, but the division, to now I think I saw a scenario, and I could be wrong, but I think I saw a scenario where if they lose these last 2 games, they could possibly not even be in the playoffs.
If the Lions win and the Packers lose, I think there is that shot, yeah. But the Lions need the Packers to lose out.
I mean, I know Indy has had a rough downfall for sure from where they've gone.
Grandpa Rivers.
But Green Bay not making the playoffs, I think, would be even more surprising than Indy. So they gotta get their stuff together these last 2 weeks and make sure they at least pull out one of these weeks.
The Packers play the most likely Lamar-less Ravens, and then they play the Vikings.
Yeah. So I mean,
JJ McCarthy has a hairline fracture in his hand, and he's not playing on Sunday.
He's not playing the rest of the year, most likely.
Yeah. So good path, right? But you still got to go out there and make sure you win those games. And the Packers have shown, if anything, this year that they can play to the level of their competition in a bad way.
I'm excited to see how the NFC North shapes out. The Bears are fun and interesting, and it's been a while since the Bears.
Call it now, Pinky. Who wins the NFC North?
The Bears.
Okay. Who misses the playoffs? Detroit or the
Detroit?
Packers?
Okay. Detroit. I don't see the Packers losing their last 2 games, so. And they have to lose out, and the Lions have to win out.
Right.
I just don't see it happening. It's possible the Bears lose this weekend. I do think the Bears have a tougher opponent this weekend. I think they're actually the underdog this weekend, to be honest. Yeah, they play the 49ers. They're the underdog this weekend.
Yeah.
So if the 49ers play like they did last night, could the Bears lose that game? Absolutely. So if the Bears lose that game, that makes things interesting. That's for sure.
I've been saying this for a while now. I will continue to say it. winning your division should not guarantee you a home playoff game. It gets you into the playoffs, and that's all it should guarantee you. Because you're most likely going to have 3 teams in the NFC West get into the playoffs. And those 3 teams may very well likely be the best 3 teams in the NFC. And one of those NFC South teams is going to get to host a playoff game, which is, in my mind, absolutely ridiculous.
There's quite a few seasons that it does look a little ridiculous. There's a couple seasons where it works out just fine. But when you have like last year when, 3 NFC North teams made it, that made it look pretty ridiculous. Agreed. This year you're going to have 3 NFC West teams make it, and 2 of them are going to be on the road, right? I get you. I still think there's something about if you won the division hosting a game. I'm on the fence.
I don't get why this idea that winning your division should mean something. It does. You automatically get into the playoffs. How does that not click with people? That does mean something. You automatically get into the playoffs. Regardless of your record, win your division, you get into the playoffs. You just shouldn't be rewarded twice. You get to get into the playoffs and you get to host a playoff game? Even though everybody knows you shouldn't have even been in the playoffs because you're not one of the 7 best teams? That's what we're going to see for probably a second year in a row. And it's not the only 2 examples of this occurring.
No.
So it blows my mind that is not a more welcomed conversation. And I got roasted last year when I threw that out there.
You did.
I remember people just hated that idea.
I don't disagree. I don't agree. I'm on the fence. I can see both ways. If they changed it, would I hate it? No. But, we'll see. All right. So moving on. Robert.
So, boy.
What do you see when you see this picture?
Also sadness, but also a lesson for what we need to do for when we move forward. And that we can maybe give up 1, but we got to play some fucking football.
Well, hold on. Let's not talk about the Broncos right now. Let's talk about the Jaguars.
You're putting this in front of my face. You're making me sad.
Let's talk about the Jaguars.
Robert's NFL season summed up in 1 word.
For real.
Sad.
I see a team that's playing good team
They're playing
football.
great team football. No, they are.
And Liam Cohen in his first year, and when he came out and said Duval, I didn't think he was going to make it. And you know what? This guy can coach. He is getting some of the best. He's getting the best football Trevor Lawrence has ever played.
Yo, am I going to have to eat words on Trevor Lawrence? What's going on here the last 3
I was about
weeks?
to say, whoa.
It's insane how well Trevor Lawrence is playing.
Dude, and they're doing this without their number 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
That they don't even get a pick in the first round next year because of.
People don't even remember that he's on the team.
No, that's what's crazy to me. What's so crazy to me is the way they started the season. And then, like I said, I think it was last week, that middle kind of stretch of the season didn't look great. And then Hunter goes down. They look kind of flat. Now they've won, 4 in a row, 5 in a row, something ridiculous, 6 in a row?
Things have really looked up since they went out and got Jacoby Myers. And he's their one.
It definitely has had a huge impact, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It absolutely.
Now, Washington looks really good again. Thomas, I don't know what they're doing with Thomas, but he at least looks like he's a good option. He doesn't look like the number 1 that we're all expecting him to.
Well, and Jacoby Myers is literally opening up the middle of the field. So Brenton Strange has been really good.
Well, and I was going to say that too. And you know how I feel about that tight end position. And you have a dangerous one there that you can put on the line and block with or go out for passes. That opens up a whole lot of options for your team.
And they're they're running the football okay. They're not even running the football great right now. If they get that really going.
No, but you know what they are finally doing with their run game, which is a surprise to me, is Etienne's finally getting consistent touches. So while their run blocking may not be great, they're at least consistently giving the touches to the position.
Well, they traded Bigsby and Tootin's hurt, so that plays a factor.
Well, I'm not whether Tootin was in splitting those carries. They're at least you don't see what a lot of what you were seeing early on was a lot of the 60, 40, 70, 30 split in favor of the passing game. And we all know that if you do that and you don't have a good run block to begin with, it's going to make your run game look like trash. So what I'm seeing is a team that's a lot more willing to be a lot closer to 50-50 in those touches. And that goes a long way, especially when you're trying to run play action, because then the defense does have to, whether you're gaining a lot of yards or not, they still have to at least honor the option because you might do it. And that changes the ability to then call that next play.
Jacksonville is in a really good spot.
Dude, in that defense, I mean, let's be honest. They've had a lot of first, second round big name picks that haven't necessarily been playing up to that standard. But that defense as a unit right now is playing some pretty good underrated football to where I might say they're one of the 5 best defenses in the league right now, the way they're playing.
They've got moments. Absolutely. They've got their run D is fantastic. And that's really where they're making hay.
They are definitely looking way better than I was expecting them to.
So that brings us to this is how things are shaping up right now. I believe this is updated as well. Oh. Good Lord. Robert, what stands out to you in this graphic here?
I love not seeing the Chiefs. I love seeing Broncos at number 1. Bears and Green Bay is a little shocking. Lions, it's just disappointing. They're not making it. Carolina was surprising. I've been enjoying kind of seeing them. It's just fresh blood, seeing a lot of different teams. It's a different mix-up. So for all intents and purposes, no matter what happens, I'm just excited for whatever fan base gets it this year, really.
So this whole graphic is going to change.
Oh, sure.
But
maybe.
I would love it to stay the way it is right now because I think all of these matchups look really freaking awesome that I want to see.
Pinky, yeah. Yes, I want to get your thoughts on that in just a second. I want to get your thoughts on this, though, first. Sorry, because this just popped into my head. Like, as soon as this popped up, like, this was like an instant thought and feeling. What if I told you this very much looks like a new old situation? It's got a new old feel. A familiar feel almost, in a sense, if you will. It's not what maybe this current generation is used to seeing. But you go back 20 years and I could tell you that this is exactly what you'd expect to see.
Well, again, Buffalo went through a really long stretch where they sucked. Jacksonville as well. Houston as well.
Late 90s, Jacksonville was good.
95, 96, 97, they were. Yes, absolutely. Panthers were too at that time frame.
You know what I mean? I look at this, I'm like, a lot of people would be like, oh, this is so new. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not at the same time. It's interesting. It's interesting because we've talked about changing to the guard here this year. And is it one of those years or is it just a get in where you fit in year and you get a steal one kind of thing? And then you show me this and I'm like, oh man, that's got some familiarity to it, even though it is like a changing of the guard. And I see that and I'm like, it's wild to think how it can be cyclical almost, you know? Give it enough time and it'll come back around kind of thing. And that's I don't know why, but that's the first thought I got.
I would love for everything to fall this way because I see every single matchup to me in this picture is very intriguing. Jacksonville and Buffalo.
In Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville. Places. Josh Allen, Superman against Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence playing his best football. That Buffalo should win, but Jacksonville scoring 30 points a game right now. Like I don't know if you could say that like definitively that Buffalo should win. Houston and New England. Drake May against that defense. Like what's
that
going to
Houston
happen?
offense, let's be honest, CJ Stroud and that passing game look like they might be figuring it out a little bit here as of recent.
Kind of. It still doesn't look good. Because I don't think they looked very good this weekend.
No, I just they starting to show some flashes, I guess is a better way to say it. And flashes can turn into big things, or they could just be nothing.
And then Chargers in Pittsburgh. That's an interesting matchup. I love the Eagles and the Rams because the Eagles beat the Rams on a blocked field goal.
God, that would be talk about a first.
Or was it the other way around? No, yeah, they beat the Rams on a blocked field goal.
Yeah. And you're talking about arguably that's the two best teams in the NFC.
And then you got Packers-Bears division rivalry. Panthers 49ers, that's probably if it stayed the way it is, that's probably the matchup on like 49ers. Actually, that offense is clicking right now. So
I was just gonna say that offense could make an argument at any given moment. It might be the best offense in the league.
The two offenses that are clicking right now are Jacksonville and San Francisco.
Whew, man, I'll tell you what.
So
No doubt.
That is scary. And then of course Seattle's sitting at home waiting for Green Bay or LA or maybe San Francisco. That's great.
I mean, let's be honest. Everybody knows about Seattle's home field advantage, right? Well documented, the 12th man, everything. I think people have forgotten a little bit about how big of an advantage Mile High is and that home field advantage. And not just because of the altitude, but because of the crowd and how rowdy it does get at home. And it's one of the harder places to play in the league if you're playing as the away team. So you look at those two potentially being the 1 seeds and the advantage that gives both of those teams to where you can make an argument that they're obviously the best teams in each division or conference. And I could listen to arguments that they're not the best team in each conference. And that's why home field advantage is going to be so huge for any of these teams, honestly. But those two teams specifically, I think, are two of the bigger home field advantages in the league.
I think we've both seen Denver and Seattle play really good football, and I think we've seen them struggle. I would say both teams need home field advantage.
I could see that.
If you told me Denver or Seattle has home field advantage, I would say either one does have a shot to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Both teams as a wild card. I don't know if they make the AFC Championship game as a wild card. That's the advantage that both teams have at home. Denver hadn't lost a game in almost a year at home.
Now, in Denver's road here, they have a better opportunity to at least avoid the wild card because they have a clearer path to the division, I would say, than Seattle does.
I mean, they'd still play in the wild card game.
Well, you know what I mean? They don't get a first round bye, but they're not a wild card, so they'd get a home game still.
They would still get a home game for one. Correct.
Whereas Seattle, if they don't win the division, it's very likely that they're playing an away game.
So the way it breaks down right now, six of these teams in the AFC actually still have a shot at the 1 seed. Denver controls its fate. They beat Kansas City, they beat LA, they're the 1 seed. Plain and simple. If Denver gets a gift from the Texans this weekend and they beat the Chargers, Denver wraps up the AFC West and most likely would still have the inside track to the 1 seed.
You mean if the Steelers beat the Chargers?
No. Steelers. The Chargers play the Texans this weekend, this Saturday.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I see what you're saying. Yes.
And then the Chargers play the Broncos next weekend.
Right.
These are again. I'm leading up to how do the Broncos get the 1 seed?
Yeah, no, my bad. I was thinking about these matchups, looking at the screen, not thinking about the last 2 games. So my fault. Yep, clear. Yep. What? Looking at this now, Pinky, if you had to pick a team that doesn't make it off of this graphic, who would you say it is?
The team that doesn't make it, I think, would be The only team I think that wouldn't make it would possibly be the Panthers. Because they still play the Bucks.
Yep, Tampa still has a shot to get through there.
So I'm pretty sure.
So you think basically this is locked in? These are the teams we're going to see in the playoffs. It's just whether or not it's the Panthers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everybody else is in. It's just seeding that you're thinking changes from here.
Yeah, because you if you look at the AFC, like technically Baltimore could still get the AFC North, but Pittsburgh would have to lose out. Baltimore would have to win out, and they might have to win out without Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Houston, I can see Houston losing to the Chargers. I can see them beating the Chargers, but then I think Houston plays the Colts in the last week.
Yeah.
Or the Titans. Like somebody plays the Titans in the division the last week. I'm looking at Carolina's right now. So Carolina plays Seattle this weekend, which I think Seattle can beat Carolina. And then they play Tampa. So then it's who does Tampa play?
I got you.
Tampa plays the Dolphins this weekend.
Dolphins and then Carolina.
Then Carolina. So again, I think it's going to come down to that last game. So I absolutely think that you could see that last game. That might be the Sunday night game next week because that's the only game that matters.
Nah. Seattle, San Francisco play each other.
That game matter. Oh, that's a tough. I don't think it. Well, it matters, but both teams are already in.
That game's not just going to be for the division; it's going to be for the 1 seed. Seattle finishes with. Where are they here? They finish Carolina and then San Francisco, and San Francisco finishes Chicago and Seattle. If they both win this week, that game is not just for the division; it's for the 1 seed. That's going to be the biggest game next weekend.
I guess, yeah. That's
not trying to diminish the game you were just talking about because that is going to be a big game still. But I think Seattle, San Francisco, and to think now, I mean, just pulling this up here, we did have all 3 NFC West teams at 11-6 for the season. I'm just saying we did have that. But where the season started and then the injuries San Francisco has had, I think it would be a bit of a surprise. I think that would be the biggest surprise, honestly. And I think Shanahan should very much be in consideration for Coach of the Year if they end up in that position. Regardless of any other coach's storyline, Shanahan getting them to the 1 seed in the NFC would be that should be very much recognized. That's crazy.
Yeah, Coach of the Year this year is pretty. I think we should definitely discuss that after this weekend. Awards coming up.
That'd be good.
So last thoughts here. I think I'm going to buy tickets to that Denver Chargers game. I think I'm going to get tickets.
That'd be fun.
Last game of the season.
Jealous.
Playoff game. 1 seed. 1 seed AFC West maybe on the line. They could have. Texans beat the Chargers this weekend. Denver beats the Chiefs on Thursday. The Broncos win the West. And then that game is just for the number 1 seed.
Yeah, but
I don't think
say that like it's no big deal. Like that's a huge deal.
The Jags are going to be a 13.
You shouldn't be saying then that game's just for the number 1 seed. It should be that game is for the number 1 seed.
It is a big deal. It is a big deal. And the Chargers are not a pushover at all. So
no, and Hampton coming back looked like it was a big boost because it allows them to not just have to rely on Vidal, who, while a good back, is not necessarily that power back in those short yard situations, or to move the chains. And Hampton has the ability and the skill set to possibly be the best back in the league in the next couple of years. Whether he gets there or not is a different story, but the ability on paper looks like it's there to be in that conversation. So you have that, and then you have another back in Vidal that's pretty explosive in itself. That has proven over the last couple of weeks to look like a bolster to that beat up offensive line, and allowing Justin Herbert a little bit more time to run that pass game. So the Chargers could be moving back into position to be somewhat of a more legit playoff threat compared to where they were, 4 weeks ago when it looked like that offensive line and offense, due to those missing, was going to be too much to overcome.
Yeah, never mind. I just looked at tickets for that game. Never mind. I'm not going. Nosebleeds are over 200 apiece.
So with Husker games, there were times where I wouldn't have tickets and I would just go hang out until after kickoff. And then I'd get tickets for super cheap from the scalpers because they had to get rid of them, right? They still had tickets that they had to get rid of. And I was like, they'd always be like, what? Game's still going. Like, you got to pay. I'm like, you can either eat them or I'll give you something for them. And it pretty much always worked out. Have you ever done that for a Broncos game? Can you do that for a Broncos game?
You can. Yeah, even all the nosebleed tickets, $200 a piece in the 500s, which is double their face value. Yeah, I'm out.
Should we go up there and see if we can get a scalper after kickoff for 20? Because they just need to get something in their pocket.
And then
miss the first quarter, but well worth it.
And then run to the sports bar if we don't find anything. Sure.
Yeah. Just go get a booth or something over there at oh, why did my head just go blank? You know where I'm talking about, right there next to
Brooklyn's.
Yeah, Brooklyn's. Thank you. Yeah, just go post up at Brooklyn's and wait for either the party to come to us or leave before the sadness arrives, and we'll be one of the first ones out.
Right.
It's a thought. It's an option, potentially. I've been actually thinking about doing that for a playoff game because they for sure don't want to eat. They'll take anything because that ticket is live or die. You know what I mean? They're not making it up again. That's the end of the season for them. So I've heard some stories of playoff game ticket scalping that get you. You might only see the second half, but you get a cheap ticket, and I've heard some stories where it gets you into a game that was well worth only getting to see the second half. You know what I mean? It might be something we think about this year. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, let's move over to the last thing before we start talking some fun nonsense. I guess you could say this was nonsense.
I mean,
if you
yeah.
really want to say it. I'm actually really sad that I took the time out to watch this freaking fight. This was because this was an embarrassment to boxing.
Oh, I'm sorry. It took everybody this long to know that was the problem with boxing? Haven't I been talking about this for years now?
We've been talking about it
since... Everybody wanted to talk about everything's okay?
We talked about it on the Tyson fight.
This was worse. What it finally took?
The Tyson fight was really bad. This is probably worse. When you want to talk about like the legitimacy of boxing, this is really bad. The best fight of actually, it was really fun seeing Anderson Silva knock out Tyron Woodley. That was cool. For a 50-year-old guy to knock another guy out was awesome.
What's sad is you tuned in for that while there was a college football playoff game going on.
Which one was going on? Because the Alabama game was already over.
No, it was not.
Alabama was up
I was getting texts
14.
From my buddy about what was happening in the prelim fights while I was watching the CFP game, waiting for that fight to start.
I didn't watch the fight until after the game was over.
Ah. So you started it from the beginning, but you started it late?
Yeah, I didn't watch the prelim.
Oh, I just picked up wherever live was.
So, yeah, this was bad. This was really bad.
I mean, didn't Tyrone Woodley get knocked out by Jake Paul?
He did.
So seeing Anderson Silva knock him out wasn't anything that I missed.
I mean, Anderson Silva
And
knocked him out in
that's
the
sad,
second round. Though,
considering the Spider is one of the greatest fighters in UFC history. And I don't feel like I missed anything because the dude he knocked out was knocked out by the dude that ended up losing the main event that everybody thinks is a joke.
And Anderson Silva fought Jake Paul, and they actually went to a decision.
Yeah.
So, look, I think that a good amount of people watch Jake Paul fights to see him get knocked out.
Yeah, they did.
And they got their wish on this one because he did get knocked out.
They didn't. It was anticlimactic as a knockout because he sat there and he was staring at somebody going, "Yep, that's the end of this." As in, I'm not getting up again. Whether he could have or not, I don't quite know. But the look, he was still fully aware with his ass on the canvas. That was not a put you to sleep knockout. That was a we're just going to end this fight knockout.
I mean,
There's a big difference.
It is broken jaw knockout. So.
That's fine. 2 places at that. Did you see the size of Anthony Joshua compared to Jake Paul?
Oh,
That dude's a giant.
The fact that he only got his jaw broken is a miracle. But nonetheless, it was not a night knockout. It was I'm just going to sit here and know I shouldn't get back up knockout.
right.
There's a difference.
Right.
There's a difference.
Now, for Anthony Joshua, I was sitting there going like, dude, just start throwing. It took 6 rounds.
No, come on. You know what that was, right?
Right.
No, I'm not even saying rigged. That, to me, being as non-conspiracy theorist as possible, okay, that looked like a dude who was literally scared to be the dude that got knocked out by the YouTuber and knew he was bigger and had a longer reach, and he was going to feel it out as long as he needed to until he felt completely comfortable that he was going to be able to end it. That's what it looked like to me. Anthony Joshua didn't want to get embarrassed. And then that 5th round rolled around, and he was all of a sudden he was like, yeah, we're going to start going ahead and handling business. And then the 6th round went, and he was all, we're going to end business. That's how I took it. It wasn't a challenge. It wasn't a rigged fight. It wasn't we're going to end this now. It was a literal heavyweight champion, former heavyweight champion, being in the ring with somebody he knew he should beat 100 times out of 100 and being scared that there was a chance he could get embarrassed. And then when he finally realized he couldn't, then the fight ended.
I can't even imagine how much money. So DraftKings was given a bonus on Joshua knocking him out in the first 2 rounds. And I was like, that's just not happening.
Mm-mm.
Like I was like, there's no way. I got Joshua over 2.5 and made double my money on it. So I felt good about that.
Now, we have come kind of a 180 on the Paul brothers, because when we first started this 5 years ago, we were like, these guys are a joke. How are people taking this seriously? Why are you paying for this? And now we're very much so, hey, you found a way to exploit a broken system and make your money off of it. That's just good business.
I mean,
props to you for handling your business and going out there and being willing to break your jaw in order to make your money.
I think we both agree, hate the game, not the player.
Yeah, and I had somebody on our social say, I don't even like that phrase because the players can change the game. And they're absolutely right. But if you're not paying attention right now, I would argue, in all honesty, and I've been actually saving this point for the live instead of responding on social, I would argue that Paul is changing the game because of how badly he's exploiting the system and how broken it is.
Dude, he produces his own fights, makes $100 million, and he's not that good a boxer.
So you want to love him or hate him? I still think the respect should be there, because whether you like it or not, I do think he is changing the game and he's exploiting a broken system. And if people are going to be okay with that, more power to anybody else who wants to jump in the ring and get their jaw busted to do it.
This dude is getting mega rich off of boxing.
And no, it's not about money. He is making generational wealth to where, in all honesty, based on the way his brother and him do business, his generations are probably never going to have to work again. I mean, let's just be honest. That's what he's setting up right now. I can't be mad at that in any way. And then Logan, if we're being honest, Logan is one of the top WWE superstars in my mind, and he should be pushed
Absolutely.
way more than a lot of the older guys are right now. He might be the best heel in the business. So props to the Paul brothers. We were not fans. We are now, and that's not.
I'm a fan of Logan Paul wrestling. As human beings,
We're not talking about the human beings. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what they've been able to accomplish based on what was put in front of them, and how everybody thought they were a joke to begin with. And you can say Logan, you can't call a joke at all. That dude is insane in the ring. You want to say Jake's a joke in the boxing ring? Fine. But I don't know many people that are going to be willing to go stand in the ring with a Anthony Joshua, regardless of how much money it's for.
Give him props for that.
So, like Pinky said, not only does he manage and set up and promote his own stuff, which should tell people he is changing the game because he's not doing a Don King behind him. And just give respect where it's due in certain situations. It's kind of like, and I know this isn't the best example, but like, love or hate Trump as the president. If the president of the United States does something good as an American citizen, you should be happy about it. Like, you should just be happy about that, whether you love or hate who the president is. Love or hate Jake Paul, you should be happy that he's exposing boxing and the broken system that it is, and hope that it creates change. That's all I'm saying.
I can get behind that.
Sure. All right. Absolutely.
All right. Let's have some fun. Move on to something a little bit more fun. Robert.
Bro.
I think you're the only one that got to go see Avatar this weekend. I was studying for my test. I didn't have time. Should I go see this movie?
For the visuals itself, yes, it is definitely worth seeing. I enjoyed it for that element alone, but it is still the same fight setup. It's like, oh hey, all right, same time next Tuesday. Like we'll be back at this again in just a couple of weeks. Like there's very little story innovation.
So very flat story like the second one.
Yeah, it's like it's a continuation literally of the second one. There's no time gaps or anything. Like it's just boom, here we are, and we're just going off. And
that's unfortunate because the premise that I had heard of made it sound very interesting, and you're making it sound like it's just like the battle kind of situation.
The Ash people you see maybe have like 30-ish minutes of screen time, and I'm like, I want more of them. I want to see more of that culture. Like I want to know more.
That already tells me two things actually, Robert. Two things, and please correct me if I'm wrong or add to as your expertise allows. One, the idea that this can be a well wrapped up finale to a trilogy that isn't really a trilogy is bullshit, because what you're telling me and what it sounds like is this really should be more leading up into the 4 and 5, and Cameron has wasted so much time on whatever excuse he wants to give to the general public now that 2 and 3 should have happened basically a year after 1, and we should be in a position now where we're getting 4 and 5 truly finishing the story. Is that what I'm gathering from you now?
I mean, pretty much it's like they're trying to develop an Empire Strikes Back moment, and it just doesn't get there. So there's no Return of the Jedi. There's no purpose for any of this to really continue. So you're just like, I don't understand why we're in the same conflict with the same villain over the course of 3 movies with very little development of why we care. The only change you really saw is that, okay, so now you have the original villain who, and I'm going to just have to say it because there's really no other term for it, is that a supreme racist of the Na'vi people is now one of the people, and is now cozying up to the Ash people and is betraying everything that he stands for as a person. And now it's like totally flipping that storyline, and you're going, what are we doing? It's the same battle. It's the same setup. It's, oh my gosh, we're getting our butts kicked. Oh, hey, Awa came to save us and everything's fine again. Great, we're going to have a final battle. Hey, same time next week when I see you in a few months. Like,
So
Robert,
from what
I was afraid of this, and I have a question to pose to you, and then I'll let you and Pinky kind of talk, because you guys have, I feel like, a little bit better feel for some of this stuff. Cameron in this movie, and I am not comparing the two overall, so please get that very clear to begin with. This is strictly the Avatar series comparison doing this, okay? Very small sample size, not the life of the director sample size. Avatar is kind of starting to feel like a certain director who went on Netflix and tried to make a Star Wars ripoff it and failed in very many ways. Am I kind of in the right ballpark here for this, at least in a bubble scenario?
I mean, for future filmmaking, it does a lot for moviegoers and what it can be. That I'm excited for. But again, there's no defining moment. There's no Luke, I am your father. There's no keep your friends close but your enemies closer type situation to where you're like, oh, I'm all in on this. Because there's nothing at stake anymore. There's nothing there. I mean, and I'm saying that because there is a trope where, okay, they go down a plot line with it, but then you're again still in the same cycle.
Yeah, and you and I have kind of talked about this, but wouldn't you say a lot of that is because the time frame in which he's taken to tell this story has created more of a bank robbers on the run scenario rather than the king of all the people on the run to save the people?
I
Like,
mean,
you almost lose the complete perspective of why they're even not with their own people, right?
So, yes, and for me personally, and this is where when you really start getting into this series itself, Way of Water and Fire and Ash were originally one script, and they split it into two. And that's very apparent.
Oof.
But they couldn't
That's never good.
They couldn't pick which way they wanted to go. So we get 6 hours of just this huge story that does very little development. Like, for me personally, I would have told the story in a bit of a different way to get the catalyst that I think were trying to go for. But overall, I mean, you've seen the first movie, you've seen the second movie, you've already seen the third movie.
Does this, the way you just said that, kind of sparked a thought for me? Does this feel like, if Cameron is right or telling the truth originally, and he really did have a 5-film kind of synopsis planned, are 2 and 3 such that you could have almost gotten rid of them in the overall, if you think about it, when we got 5 films? Because 4 and 5 are actually going to be the films that tell the end of the first story, which is how they ended up claiming the planet back for themselves and getting rid of the off-worlders and their mining operations and everything. Does that what this feels like, Robert? Like 2 and 3 are kind of these like these filler stories of kind of what was going on in the meantime, like while they were on the run, like almost like these flashbacks. And then if we ever get 4 and 5, they're going to be like the real like continuation of the first one. Does it
I
have
can't-
that? Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Yes, and on two things. One, I can't say that because we don't know what 4 and 5 are gonna hold.
Sure.
Second, there's so much that this movie ends with on an open thread that you have really no way to know what happens next.
Okay.
And so for them to market it as a final film of a trilogy is, I think, crap, because there's no
Conclusion.
you have no resolve. Literally, you are dealing with these same villains from not just the first movie, but also the second movie. There's no change.
That's wild.
You start to see little fractions, and you see a different side of the Na'vi. And I mean, to be honest with you, I loved, for when the Ash people were on screen, I was having a blast. I mean, my favorite scene is when you first really get to meet them in one of the first big battle sequences. You're going through, and one of your first introductions to them, and I mean, I'm going to give a spoiler right now if you guys are cool with it. It just describes what they do, but they're straight up scalping their own people. Like, they grab that braid and they straight up. And for me, I was like, okay, I'm in on this. Like, where are we going here? And to have
that's
such
what I thought
little
this was going
screen
to be
time.
more about, is that play on the break from AWA. And you're telling me it sounds like, and again, we don't want to.
There's so much AWA in this movie.
All right.
So not only is there so much AWA, but there's literally, you could put a bro counter on this movie for how many times you hear the word bro. It's annoying.
That's not good.
It's sick.
Okay.
And I'm like, did no one look over this script to try to make it a little bit better? Yeah.
No, because all Cameron cares about these days, it feels like, is pushing the industry's technology forward, not necessarily giving you a great story, unfortunately.
So, I was entertained. I got my money's worth, but it's definitely not like this is a trilogy. This is not a new Dune. This is not a Spider-Man trilogy. Like, it's nothing to that nature where it's memorable to any significant degree other than, oh, hey, it's very beautiful to watch.
Not the Return of the King Cameron claimed it was going to be?
No, not even. I wouldn't even call this the Two Towers.
Well, that's a great movie, so let's
there's
be more
no
realistic.
You can't even hold a candle.
Is this like
I mean, it's a great, fantastic trilogy on its own, but Pirates of the Caribbean on its own does a great job of telling a coherent storyline across a couple movies.
Okay. Fair.
I mean,
fair. Okay, easy.
Look, so Robert, what I'm hearing you say is this weekend, if I have time, I should go see Anaconda instead of Avatar. That's what I'm hearing you say.
I mean, if you want to
because
laugh,
Avatar is going to give you better visuals in theater, and you guys are theater guys, so you should see that at least.
Avatar in theaters, Anaconda for streaming.
Whereas me, I'm just good with sitting on my couch here in the basement and my, cheap ass surround sound, and no matter what it is, I'm good.
Yeah.
Now there is something though that we're watching on TV.
There's two things we're watching on TV. This first, but damn, what a first freaking episode, man.
Can I just say, I've been trying to think of how to word this, and I haven't been able to come up with a good way. So just kind of bear with me here. Is this the most evil fucking shit we've ever seen on television happening right before our eyes, and it's not getting noticed because it's done in such a poppy 1950s aesthetic, funny, dark kind of way that it's going under the radar? Because what Vault-Tec is doing is arguably the most villainous, evil thing in the history of mankind.
I love that you haven't played the games. Like, this is so great. I
mean,
love
I
getting to
understand the
experience
concept of
it
defense, right?
from
Like, I get
someone
it.
else's view.
But isn't it like this is the most vile shit a human being could possibly think of? And it's being portrayed as this like happy-go-lucky kind of thing because of the way they do the music and the storytelling, and it's still portrayed as evil, but this is not portrayed as some evil villainous show. But what is being occurred and what they're going around kind of piecing the clues together of is the darkest thing that could possibly happen in humanity's history.
Welcome to Fallout, Caleb.
Dude, what?
Like, so,
Tone down your mic there, Robert. You're way too fucking loud.
I think he sounds all right, but
the
Really loud.
Matthew Perry, Chandler Bing got so addicted to Fallout New Vegas, he developed carpal tunnel. Like and to the point where they even made a character in game of him. This game is one of the most top-rated games of all time. There's this Fallout just on its own is a fantastic series. New Vegas, the game itself, is one of the best RPGs.
kind of makes me want to play it.
I mean, absolutely, dude. It is 110% worth it.
But the deeper we get into the storyline and the background, I'm like, oh my god!
And the funny thing is as you're watching the show, and if you've played the game, you're in a sense of like you're watching a cinematic, because some of this stuff, like, okay, yeah, I could see this happening. Because you have like percentage chances with different skills that you develop. And it's like, oh, you might miss it. So like the main character, she shoots a guy in the ass. Well, you could do that in the game just by sheer chance. So there's a lot of these things and nuances that keep happening. You're like, haha. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. And I mean, this season alone is, I think, going to be awesome. I cannot wait. Especially after the first look that we got at the end of episode 1.
Oh my gosh, the amount of things that they threw into that season synopsis, like,
You know what? You got me thinking. I can probably buy this on Steam.
It is. And
It's
again, yeah, I haven't
$5.
played the game, but man, I am loving the storyline, and it is. I know you said it's they're taking their liberties, but there's a level of faithfulness to the original source material that makes it really good for both people that played the game and people like me who haven't.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I just want to mention one of the things that really stood out to me was, I don't know the character's name, but the guy that's stuck in the other vault with the little brain and
The
the little
son?
robot.
Yeah.
The brother of yeah.
Yeah. I was sitting there going the whole time, it's just a little brain in a robot tread. Like, just go kick it over and you'll be fine. Like,
You're absolutely right, but then the problem is then he is fully stuck in that vault. That brain is the one operating everything for those vaults.
And so if he kills that brain, he's screwed.
He doesn't have the codes, so he doesn't know. There's no way of getting out. There's no way of anything happening. So I did think about that, Pinky, but then that was my next thought was, well, if that's the case, then does he ever have a way to get out? Like, what would that end up being? So, but you're right. That's an interesting dynamic that's playing out right now where, like, it makes me wonder if he's thought about that as an option and he's came to the same conclusion as me, or if because of the way he's lived in the vaults his whole life, that hasn't quite come to his thought process as a potential end game yet. You know what I mean? Like, the idea of murder is still not within his, even though he's recently witnessed it, still not within his ability to put on his list of possibilities.
Time will tell. There's a lot to develop.
I know, it was just one episode. The
And
opening
that's the
was
best part is we get to theorize about it.
the opening was pretty dope. I will say that.
Man. So many good things. So many good things.
And I loved I just loved the her, what's her name? I
The main chick.
yeah.
Oh man.
I can't remember
See?
anybody's names.
Yeah, I know the
Yeah.
ghoul.
Yeah, the ghoul.
Well, yeah, he's the ghoul.
Walton Goggins, by the way, talk about a character arc, because you get these flashbacks where he is like the
Lucy.
pure hero, right?
And the
I'm
kid
gonna
at the
make the
brain
right
is
choice,
Norm.
even though it goes against it. It's gonna end my marriage. It's gonna cost me everything I cared about. Like, to where he is now, where there is no morality. Like the way they're filling that in with like the flashbacks and then going back to where, like, that's a crazy arc that they're doing really great job of telling.
I mean, I wouldn't say that this is Prime's best show, but it's definitely up there.
What's their best
Definitely.
show?
I mean, I really like Reacher.
Reacher's really good. I would say
Boys
this is
is
on
good.
par.
The Boys, I would say.
I would
Gen
say this is on
V.
par with The Boys.
Ooh, there's another one on Prime that I really
You're
like.
not a fan of it, Caleb, but Invincible, definitely.
Yeah, I can't. I would say this is far better than Invincible, because Invincible just didn't. It lost me. And if, regardless of how true you are to the source material, if you're, you know me, I'm pretty good about having a broad spectrum of likes. So for me to not like Invincible, I think that was more for people who are just a fan of the comics.
I don't know how you didn't. I don't know how you didn't like it. It was good.
It's not that I didn't like it. It's just it got to the point where I just didn't care. So seeing another episode or where the story went, I didn't have an interest to put in
another
anymore.
Another good one on Prime is Cross.
Haven't heard of that one.
You know the Morgan Freeman movie Along Came a Spider?
Yeah.
It's based on that character.
Ooh.
It's good. It's
Okay.
good.
I like that idea. I'll have to check that out.
It's a murder mystery. So if the wife likes that, it'd be a good one to sit down and watch.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah, I gotta watch the new Knives Out. That's next.
I gotta watch Knives Out as well.
I think that, but Prime and like 3 of the shows you guys just mentioned, this being one of them. I know Man in a High Castle was really highly acclaimed. I watched season 1 and really liked it, and then we never got back into it for some reason. But Prime does some really good stuff. Maybe not all their stuff hits, but when they hit, it's high level stuff for sure. Can't wait for episode 2.
Next week, baby. And to wrap it up,
Stranger Things!
Christmas Day. So excited.
Oh, I almost forgot about that.
That's right, baby. I'm gonna be like, all right, friends, family, I love you all. At 6 p.m., I'm going back to my house. I'm watching Stranger Things. I'll see you all later.
That's on Christmas?
Yes.
Broncos are on at 6 o'clock, so no.
Well, damn. I'll figure it out.
Broncos are the late game on Christmas, so
I'll figure it out. But well, cool.
Just watch the Broncos game and then watch Stranger Things. You'll be fine. You're young.
Oh, that's what I think about Stranger Things.
I'll just stay up late.
Are you working? Are you working Friday?
No.
Then yeah, watch the Broncos game and then stay up late.
Heck yeah.
All right, fellas.
Got it.
Final thoughts. Go, Robert. Give it to us.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Enjoy the friends, family, all the time, whoever you call your family. Enjoy the time together. That's what this season is for. Talk about your accomplishments this year. Talk about goals for next year. I know I've been talking with Pinky about what I'm planning. I mean, there's a lot of great things coming. A lot of good movies coming. We did not talk about it here tonight, but you will see something go up tomorrow about it for the Doomsday trailer that was released for the first one. It is out for everyone, as well as the trailer for the Odyssey. Fantastic things out in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Spend the time with the family, friends, whoever you love. It's the best time of the year.
Was that to me, Caleb?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to stick with the family and friends. So I got a new job. It's official now because I passed my test.
Whoop, whoop.
And my wife was nice enough to make a very beautiful Facebook post about it. And I had so many friends congratulate me and wish me well. And that brings me back to, like, if there's some people that you haven't checked in a while, send a quick message. Check in. How you doing? How are things going? is life going well for you? Just check in. You never know. We all deal with different things. We could all be in different moments of life. But sometimes maybe that just one message from a friend that says, hey, man, how you doing? You're amazing. You're doing great. Might mean the world. So check in on family and friends.
100%.
I like it.
100%.
I like it. Go put on a Christmas Vacation. Go put on A Christmas Story. Go put on A Christmas Carol. Go put on Elf.
Die Hard.
Die Hard is also a great choice. Good sir, it is a Christmas movie. Pay attention. Sit down. Enjoy the season. Drink some eggnog. There's a lot of good sports on Christmas Day. Oh, I'm so excited.
If you're Pinky, drink the screwball eggnog.
Also delicious. Open your presents. Turn on the sports. Enjoy the day. As the fellas have already said, as we always say, take those moments you have with your inner circle, family, loved one, friends, and cherish them. Do not take them for granted. Spend those opportunities with as much in the moment amount of time as you can. To anyone that supports us, like, follow, share, subscribe, hit the buttons, please. It goes a long way. If there's something you want to hear from us, as we always say, let us know. Topics, we're open. Give them to us. Sports, the nonsense covers everything else. That's why we did it, because we like to talk about a lot of different things. But let us know. We appreciate you guys more than we can honestly say with words. The support goes a long way. We thank you all. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, New Year, everything that's coming and whatnot. Enjoy. Cheers. Peace.
Pinky in the building, reppin' orange and blue. Broncos country, yeah, you know how we do. Hot take so wild, you remember the name. From college ball to the pros, Caleb spitting game. Robert here, the pop culture plug. From comics to racing, pour the drink in the mug. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, yeah, bold talk. Good laughs and a glass in the air. Sports, nonsense and whiskey, right? Kick back, tune in, take a wild side stride.